Now that you had a chance to do the assignments on Buddhism from the Houston Smith book, let's take a few moments to analyze Buddhism. First of all, in the book, Houston Smith claims that Buddhism is basically a protest, a Protestant version of Hinduism. That appears to be its strength. When you go back and consider more in depth, Hinduism, it's claimed that everything is basically divine. It seems almost to be too huge a claim. It may be true, all right, but there's some challenges to that. And as a result, can it really support an issue of there being right and wrong in the world? If everything's divine, can anything really be wrong? Is not everything perfect? Well, Buddhism is going to look at this and say there is definite right and wrong in the world. There's evil in the world. Number one. Number two is Hinduism is also going to have a problem dealing with the area of suffering, especially if it's negative. Can the divine really suffer? Or, and for example, some from a certain perspective, for example, Judaism may look at cancer, go, that is evil. That's something that needs to be defeated. Whereas on the other hand, the Hindu may just claim that it is not good, it's something he wants to defeat, but does the system really support that claim that there really is evil in cancer? All right, so you're looking at Buddhism, and Buddhism is going, yes, there is definite evil in the world, and because there is a violation of a standard of right and wrong. So this seems to be the two elements that Buddhism tends to contribute to Hinduism. Now, on the whole, Hinduism has rejected Buddhism and rejected this claim, especially the path to nirvana. But that seems to be some very good strengths and contributions that Buddhism brings to the table. Now, there can be also some challenges to Buddhism. Now, whether they're defeaters or not depends upon you, whether you consider them defeaters or not. But these are some challenges that those who embrace Buddhism would need to address. First of all would be the ontological question. Now, Houston Smith kind of touches on this in his chapter on Buddhism. There seems to be an escape from or an avoidance of ontology. What is ultimate reality? In one of the statements, Houston Smith says there is really no escape from ontology, that ontology is unavoidable. And I think there's a legitimate claim there from Houston Smith. Buddha is really going, I really don't ultimately care what's out there, what's ultimately true, as much as I want to take care of the sickness that is in the human experience. I want to take care of evil and suffering. And so he presents the analogy of the bow and arrows where the person's been shot by the arrow, and he's trying to help us get rid of the arrow, try to take care of the disease infection that's infected the human experience. Well, that's true, and that's very good, very commendable. Again, it seems to be an improvement on Hinduism. But the question is still, where did the arrows come from? And if I don't deal with that issue, if I don't understand why arrows are being shot, I might get shot again. So therefore, there's the issue of can you really avoid ontology and the big issue about ultimate reality? And Houston Smith says no. And I think Houston Smith has a point there. So that's something that those who embrace Buddhism would need to deal with. There's another thing as well. When it talks about going into nirvana, stripping away desire, as you have read the chapter from Houston Smith, there almost seems to be an annihilation of the person. Now, some claim that's what nirvana is. Now, others claim no, it really is like a drop of water being dropped into the ocean. And so therefore, it's being lost in this vast sea of being. Well, in the book, in the chapter, Houston Smith points out that we want to get rid of personality because personality limits us just like our body limits us. So therefore, we want to get rid of these things in order to experience being in its fullness. The question, though, is that really nirvana? Is that really going to be a positive experience? Because have you basically destroyed the person? is personality what it means to be a person? So there's a question there that would need to be addressed if you're doing the 5-page paper on ultimate reality and embracing Buddhism. The third thing, though, is this, is that, is desire really the problem? Now, for some, any desire is a problem. Now, Houston Smith is going to claim that Buddha differentiates between good desires and evil desires, right? So evil desires are the problem. But is there really such a thing as evil desire? Or is it the way I go about fulfilling the desires? Can that be the problem? For example, let's take the extreme case. Let's take Hitler, okay? Probably no one worse than him. Okay, so what was his desire? Was it to kill Jews? Not per se, no. It was to create a superior race. Is that bad? I would hope that the United States would want to be a great nation. I would hope that every nation would want to be great. So is that a bad desire? Rather, was it the way he went about doing it? Is that what was evil? Exterminating 18 million people that we know of, may have been more. 18 million people, now that is evil through and through, and there's no justification for that. So the question is it our desires, are they the problems, or is it the way we go about fulfilling our desires? Number two could it be our desires are too strong? If our desires were weakened, would we basically be better people if our desires were weak? In his classic, The Way of Glory, C.S. Lewis says, no. The problem is not that our desires are too strong, it's that they're too weak. And the result is we settle for things. Whereas we could be holding out for great things, we settle for lesser things. And so the problem becomes not the strong desires, is the weak desires. And his solution is basically strengthen your desires and hold out for what's really the good thing in life. Those would be the strengths, I think, of Buddhism, and also the challenges. And if you're going to write that 5-page paper, those are areas you would need to address in that paper.